how to convert more prospects to customers for my video production company or freelance operation, increasing your conversion rate to over 90%. Right, so if you've arrived here having watched our How to Get More Customers video, then this is going to be a natural progression for you. If you haven't watched it, well, it's there if you want to. You don't have to watch it for this to make sense though. Okay, so on with the show. Now, winning new clients is probably the best feeling in the world, maybe, for any video production professional. It's the start of a new, beautiful relationship. And as long as you deliver on the project, there's a fair chance that this can convert into an ongoing relationship. Now, we do have another video, I know, plug after plug, that focuses on how to convert one-off customers to long-term contracts. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. You can watch that one after this. So, as mentioned before, it's a great feeling to win a pitch, but pitching for new projects is time-consuming and sometimes stressful. It takes you away from what you love doing most, making beautiful video content. So the quickest way to grow your business is to increase your conversion rate. And that's exactly what we're going to focus on here. The importance of pitching and the buyer's mindset. Any production company will know the importance of the pitch. You're up against three, usually, other production companies, and you have to present your creative concept in line with the facts that you were presented with. The winner is the one that gets the buyer excited the most by their creative concept, but also the one who can instill the most confidence that they're going to pull off what they're proposing, and most importantly, whether it will help the organization achieve their ultimate goals. And it's the last point that is the most critical. But let's talk through them all now. The three critical parts of a pitch that will help you win the confidence of your buyer. So the first is your creative ability and production credentials. In this day and age, high production values is taken for granted. It's unlikely that you've got to the pitch stage without them seeing your previous work and at least your showreel. Whilst it's important to show that you are creatively excellent and deliver beautiful video content, in today's competitive world, realistically, this is never going to win you the work alone. And it's the production companies that believe best creative wins that are the ones that are struggling today. Thousands of people are rolling out of filmmaking courses each and every year. There's no lack of quality production people around, and the buyer knows this. You know this. So to think that the pitch is going to win off the back of a strong creative alone is silly. Please don't get me wrong, you need to show that you're skillful in the craft, but my point is that your pitch is unlikely to win off the back of a strong creative alone. So let's take a look at the next key part, your interpretation of the brief. More often than not, when you are asked to pitch for a project, you'll receive a chunky brief document. The buyer will outline their business and provide you with key information such as the budget, the time frames, what they are looking to achieve, and so on and so on. If you don't receive a brief, it goes without saying that you need to get on the phone to them and ask them some questions so you're clear on what they want to achieve. But it's what you do with that brief that allows them to truly believe that you understand and are on the same page as them. When working in production, we quickly understood this, and every single proposal or pitch that we made started off with a section called Reinterpreting the Brief. We used a simple model of get to buy to concisely show that we understand them and are setting out on the same common goal. The get to buy model was simple. Who are we looking to get? What are we looking to make them do? And how are we going to achieve that? This simple but effective reinterpretation helps you build out the rest of your pitch. And that leads nicely into the next key part of any winning pitch. How are you going to help them achieve their goals? This is where your strategy takes form. Now, it's not realistic to lay down a perfect and in-depth strategy to the content that you're creating, and I wouldn't expect you to do this in full without winning the work first, but in order to win the work first, you need to give them the confidence that what you are proposing is actually going to work. And here, like it or not, you need to be working with data. The word data scares a lot of creatives and production people. You may be all about beautiful video and have no understanding of the world of data tracking or reporting, but let me tell you that this is the single most important part of any pitch. At the end of the day, you are articulating your ideas to a person that has their own fortunes at the forefront of their mind. It sounds selfish, but it's absolutely true. If you can help that person that is in charge of the budget achieve remarkable results that can be proven, if you can prove the return on investment, you'll win the project, hands down. Put yourself in the mind of the buyer. They are in charge of driving results from the content that you are going to help them create. They want to show that their campaign has been a success. It may mean that they get that promotion. It may mean that they can boost their CV. It may mean that they make themselves more wealthy if they are the business owner. It may mean that they win that award. A successful project is only going to have positive outcomes on the buyer. So tap into that and take time to show them how they are going to succeed by choosing you. So, what role does data play in this? Well, it's easy to source the data to drive your creative concept. It's all out there, but it's sometimes a struggle to know where to find it and how to use it to your benefit. We're going to focus on how you can source and use data to ensure that you win over 90% of your pitches. What would that mean to your business? Quite a lot, I'm guessing. In the next few sections, we're going to learn how to use data to uncover your audience habits, use data to map out the journey the viewer will take, use data to support your creative, prove the ROI for the client, and prove the success of your previous projects. We're going to break these sections into get to, buy, and back up our plans with data. By doing this, the buyer will have complete confidence in what you are setting out to achieve and why you have put forward these plans. Hardly any of your competitors will be doing this, which will immediately cover your concept in gold dust. So, the first step, get. Using data to understand your audience. So we know who we are trying to target. The client has probably outlined their target audience, but if they haven't, you'll need to quiz them on this. What we're going to do here is show that we know where the audience spends their time, what type of content engages them, how they consume this content, and what actions they are likely to take. By identifying these areas, it allows us to start shaping the creative, what the content looks like, but also the type of video content that we are going to use. So this could be long form, short form, live video, personalized video, interactive video, vertical video, the list goes on. And also any video marketing tactics that should be played here. For example, influencers, paid advertising, targeting, and so on. By having a crystal clear view on what the audience engages with, how they engage with it, and where they do, we can give the buyer confidence that we can first of all get these people engaged with the content. Get, that's the first section, get. Once we articulated who their audience is, we need to identify the following: where to find the audience, how to appeal to the audience, who influences the audience. Now, I just want to reiterate that this video is very much about teaching you what you need to do and not so much on exactly how to do it. If you want to learn about this in more detail, we do cover it off in depth in our webinars. So just go to www.filmandcontent.com/webinars to book your spot on the next available one. So now you're able to concisely show exactly who your audience is and where you are going to get them from. It's important not to go into too much detail here, but you need to bring in some statistics that show that you totally get the audience and how this is going to shape the creative. We suggest pulling this together under the following headings. Start off by titling this section as Get, and then insert who you are trying to get. So we're going to use an example that one of our clients, St. John Ambulance. So here we would put the following: Get parents of young children. That's the heading. Then we break it down to detail the data that we have uncovered. So break this down to subheadings of our audience, their viewing habits, what engages them, influencer research, and what does this mean? It's important to articulate the reasons behind doing this work and what the data that you have uncovered means to the buyer and to the project. I would start by giving a brief introduction to this section, stating that the work you've done here will help you be sure that the content you are creating will attract the right type of people or something similar. In the what does this mean section, give a brief summary of what you believe this is pointing to and what effect this is going to have on your creative. Okay, the next section is 2, using data to ensure your audience takes action. So now that we know who our audience is, where they spend their time and what's going to make them pay attention, we need to clearly and concisely explain how we are going to get them to take the action that we desire. First of all, let's title this section as 2 and insert your 2. So carrying on from our St. John Ambulance example, we'd use the title 2, Understand Basic Life-Saving First Aid. Now, this is very much an educational goal, but other examples could be 2, buy our new product, or 2, become aware of our new brand, or 2, inquire about our key service. This really is the crux of the project, and we're going to show in this section that we know how we are going to move the viewer as quickly as possible to this action. We're going to show the person that you are pitching to through our top level research that what we are putting forward is going to deliver their key goal. In this section, we're going to take a look at distribution channels, which will help define our creative, and depending on what channels we decide to move forward with, we'll be able to understand what tools we have to play with and what types of video content can be utilized. Let's first take a quick look at the various distribution channels. Now, we cover these off in huge detail within our video content strategies course, so this is a top level overview of each. We also have a masterclass series of courses that take you through each and every social channel step by step to ensure that you're taking full advantage of each, and most importantly, tracking views and engagement right through to the ROI. So at Film and Content, we break down the online distribution channels into 3 clear categories. First is your website. The second is broadcasting. I'm not talking TV, I'm talking email, Messenger, WhatsApp, and so on. The third is social channels, so Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and so on. Again, there's so much detail to each of these, but we will cover this off in more detail within the webinar. But what you need to do is identify which distribution channel you are going to utilize and explain what this means to the person taking action. Once you've done this, you can then focus on which types or formats of video you can use. So this could be regular video, vertical video, personalized video, interactive video, 360 video, live video, webinars, long form, short form, the list goes on. Having done the research, and by showing this in your pitch, the buyer is going to have a lot of confidence in the creative that you are putting forward. In order to articulate this within your pitch, we suggest using the following subheadings and showing your findings and thoughts below each. Okay, so the first is distribution channels. Identify the distribution channels that you believe are right and support this with the findings and data from your research. The second is action strategy. Once you have the distribution channels outlined, articulate how these channels are going to work with each other, and be sure to include your findings from the Get section, as influencer outreach may be critical to your distribution and action plans. Remember that a huge part of this section is the call to action. The call to action is one of the most important parts of any video. You need to be crystal clear as to what you're encouraging the viewer to do once they've watched and engaged with your video. And you also need to be clear on how you are going to do that. You can use buttons within the video or links within the description, annotations and audio prompts to usher the viewer onto your next video, or to leave a comment, or head back to your website, or even to purchase now. The list goes on. By outlining the videos without the creative in mind, you'll be able to piece together a creative that achieves your goal and fits your strategy, as opposed to delivering a strategy that is shaped by your creative. Remember, the person that you're pitching to is a person, and all they care about is achieving their goal. The next section is buy, using data to ensure your creative is spot on. Okay, so now we have shown your prospective client that you know who you are targeting, where they hang out, what content they engage with, and how you are going to get them to engage. Now is the time to bring this all together into your creative. We're now pitching the concept off the back of solid data and a sound understanding of how each distribution channel is going to support our key goal. This allows your prospective buyer to become excited by the creative concept because they know and understand how it is going to work. This isn't just a beautiful creative that may work, this is a beautiful creative that will work. So knock their socks off with your creative, make it look beautiful and get them excited. Now, remember at the start of this video when I said that everyone that you pitch to is a person? Well, this is where we add the cherry on top and clinch your project. This is what increases your conversion rate to over 90%. This is what nobody else does. All your client wants to do is show how successful their campaign was. But showing the success of video has been something that marketers have struggled with ever since video became powerful online. So often they're caught up in viewing figures, engagement rates, and other fluffy metrics that don't actually show the ROI. This part of the pitch is where we are going to show them exactly how we will track their ROI for them. And by the way, ROI, if you don't know, is return on investment. Now, how we show the ROI depends on what the goal of the content is. If it's to make a purchase, well, that's nice and straightforward. We need to track anyone that has engaged with the video across any of our distribution channels and track them right through to purchase. But if it's not a direct purchase, we need to put a value on the action that they take and track through to that point. We have a series of videos that go into a huge amount of detail on each social channel, so we're going to give you the outline of what you need to do here, but if you want to get the actual how-to for each channel, then that will be covered in those courses. Those courses also go in depth with reporting for each channel, so you can understand exactly how to get the numbers that you need to. I'd highly recommend them. Video KPIs. In order to track the return on investment, we need to understand the various KPIs associated with video marketing. Again, this is a whole entire video, but you can watch that once we're done here. Tracking ROI, tracking the return on investment. Right, so here is how we show the actual return on investment on their campaign. By now, you've articulated your main goal of the campaign through your Get to Buy outline. You also understand which KPIs you're going to track along the way, and you've associated a value for the end action. We need to understand how many people are achieving that action off the back of engaging with our video content. Again, this is covered in the webinar that I keep talking about, but we also have another video that gives you the basics of how to do this. But for the purpose of this video, what we are doing here is showing the person that you are pitching to that we will be able to report on the ROI of the campaign and show the success of their investment. So, in summary, now we have a creative that is based around data and a strong top-level strategy. We have broken our pitch down into Get to Buy and given the buyer confidence that our creative has been developed from strong research and meaningful data. Because we are pitching to a person, this gives them absolute confidence in your creative, and you will find removes any pushbacks they have regarding budgets. You'll also find that once you've completed a project off the back of a pitch structured in this way and are able to show the results of these in your new pitches, your win ratio will increase further. If you put this information into play now, you can start to drive real results. But if you'd like a bit more detailed explanation of it, and quite a few other tips and tricks for that matter, as well as guidance on how you actually do these things, then I would seriously suggest getting yourself onto the next available webinar. Just go to www.filmandcontent.com/webinars to see when the next available one is. As ever, if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below and I'll answer them ASAP. And again, don't forget, please do add me on LinkedIn. I'd love to start a conversation with you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, have a good one.